Thursday, everyone. I'm so excited because it's time for...
Hug Your Thug! With your host, Joy Behar.
Yes, welcome to Hug Your Thug, where victims and their victimizers come together to see who the real criminal is. I'm your host, Joy Behar. First, let's address a socialist candidate for the city council, Tiffany Caban, who amid increase in violent crimes and shootings, wants victims of violent crimes to work with their attackers in the name of restorative justice. By the way, if you see a word in front of justice other than criminal, you know you're getting a dose of leftist nonsense. Legit justice requires law and order, something lefties hate more than soap and water. Caban calls it a public safety plan, but for whom exactly? Bringing the victim together with the perp who brutally beats her? This is like the world's weirdest dating app. So how did you two lovebirds meet? Oh, he pistol whipped me under a bridge in Central Park, stole my purse, and then drove off in my car. Caban calls it a public safety plan. That's about as safe as dining with the Taliban and asking for kosher options. That's about as safe as a second audition with Harvey Weinstein. That's about as safe as wearing a donut suit around Brian Stelter. Obviously, this is meant to strip cops and courts of any authority and give more power to hard left activists who never met a criminal they didn't like. Here's part of her proposal, quote, example of use. A person is beat up, suffers a broken rib, and is robbed of his wallet. First, his needs are heard and affirmed, and he works with trained staff to develop a services and healing plan. First of all, thanks for assuming the gender of the crime victim. Shouldn't it be their wallet? I would only hope that the victim fills out a pronouns worksheet while he's still bleeding in the street. It keeps going. Then, when he is ready, he participates in restorative justice circles with the person who harmed him in their respective support systems. He asks questions and gets answers, and they develop an accountability and consequences plan. So I'm supposed to develop an accountability and consequences plan with the lowlife who flogged me with a car antenna, broke my eye socket, and stole my iPad? What do you want me to do next? Help him with his taxes? Work on his to-do list? Hell, if I'd been mugged and beaten, my first question for my attacker would be, why aren't you in prison right now, you But instead, here you must work out the thug's issues. After all, isn't it your fault for having that money that he wanted? He was just taking from one and giving it to another, you oppressor. Sorry, the only restorative circle I want to see is that perp encircled by his victims and they're restoring a beating on his ass. But here, instead of putting the guy in prison where he belongs, we make the victims his social worker. How would this work out?
So, I'm your therapist today, and I'm supposed to ask you how you feel.
Okay, I guess. I mean, kind of tired. Hey, I know you.
Yes, you mugged me in Central Park 30 minutes ago. You took my wallet, you broke my eye socket, and you cracked 3 of my ribs.
Yeah, I know, that's right. My hand still really hurts from punching you.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. My facial bones are very pointy, especially the ones you cracked.
It's okay, I forgive you. By the way, do you have any more money?
I don't, you took it all. But as part of restorative justice, I'm here to find a solution for your punishment.
Wait, punishment?
Sorry, restorative healing. How do you think we should deal with you mugging me?
Well, I mean, I still have headaches from all the high-pitched screaming you were doing when I was punching your eye socket.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess I'll see you in the park, and make sure you have money next time.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So the people pretending to fight for victims are actually destroying their rights and ruining the lives for everyone, except the rich, who will always remain unaffected. Somehow I sense this will not lead to prison time, which of course is the real agenda. People like this nutbag believe we shouldn't have a criminal justice system, that no one should ever be arrested or incarcerated. They see crime, even violent crime, as basically a misunderstanding, driven by poverty, lack of education, and of course, racism. For these crackpots, the real victims of crime are the criminals. The people they beat up are just instruments of their attackers' persecution and probably deserve to be mugged because they have jobs or something. According to the New York Post, district attorneys across the Big Apple last year declined to prosecute accused felons at nearly twice the rate of 2019, letting more than 6,500 suspects off the hook. That's 17%. that's not a crime, what is? I guess that's one way to clear the docket. You can also reduce burglaries by leaving your money outside with a sign that says, come and get it. Meanwhile, a serial pervert, meaning a repeat pervert, not someone who has sex with a box of Frosted Flakes. Trust me, they're not that great.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. He's been repeatedly exposing himself to kids, but he keeps getting released from jail thanks to New York's lax bail reform. Each time he gets arrested, he's out again in a flash. The scum has exposed himself 5 times since the end of April. This guy spends so much time with his pants down in broad daylight, he has to put sunscreen on his junk. 5 times he's done this. That's 4 more times than Jeffrey Toobin. 2 more exposures, and he gets his own show on CNN. So cheap. According to the New York Post, this flashing freak keeps getting sprung because judges are largely barred from imposing bail on the misdemeanor charges. I bet those judges might feel differently if it was happening on their street. And where's the media in all this? Well, even as this summer has witnessed a spike in violent crimes, the major news networks have spent less than an hour in over 3 months covering the crime waves that are ravaging 15 Democratic-run cities. Whatever happened to if it bleeds, it leads? Now it's more like if the victim's a goner, it's a yawner. And why is that? Well, because the media shares the blame. If they accurately covered crime, they'd be exposing their own culpability. They pushed defunding of the cops, they demonized police, and they defended riots. That's why you won't see any of this stuff. Instead, they're all going to go in on January 6th, pretending to care about those officers and those victims, and throw everyone else in prison. No restorative justice needed.
Period.
Welcome. Tonight's guest, she hosts the show after this one. So if her ratings suffer, it's her fault. Host of Fox News at Night Evil, Shannon Breed. He's an expert on finances and smoldering glances. Former director of the National Economic Council and host of Kudlow on Fox Business, Larry Kudlow. The only time he hears nice set is when he's selling encyclopedias door to door. Fox News radio host Jimmy Fallon. And she's like my grandmother's meatloaf, only tolerable when covered in gravy. Fox News contributor, Kat Tim. Ow. Shannon, it's good to see you. People keep asking me if you're really evil or not. Did they do that to you?
They ask me, they're like, what is Greg's obsession with you and your evilness? But I say, I speak for myself.
Yes.
Clearly, people can see
Yes.
the darker side that I tote around with me every
No, you're an awful, awful, evil genius. If you were the victim of a violent crime, would you want to work with the person who harmed you?
Listen, if you've ever been that victim or somebody that you love, you know the thought of even going to court and having to see this person in the courtroom, it is excruciating to think through that process, even if you want to help being part of prosecuting somebody. I think that that's asking a lot of victims, and I don't know why we would be giving deference to the person who allegedly committed the crime. Why are we so worried about their feelings?
Yes.
And making sure this kind of works for everybody. If I get to pick their punishment by sitting there across from them, sure, then I'm in.
You're absolutely right. I'd make it very, very physically painful and very slow. But you raise a good question to Larry. What is it about criminals that is so appealing to the left? All those stories in there all were connected by that one thing, diminishing of the victim and a preference for those who victimize.
I think it's inexplicable, because this is woke gone wild. And
Ooh, a DVD. Nobody buys DVDs anymore. That's a Fox Nation special.
But nothing happens because it's woke gone wild. There's no gender. You don't see anything.
Yes,
it's actually depressing.
that's the beauty of it, actually. It covers everything imaginable. Look, defund the cops, defund the police, not enough. No bail, not enough. Let them out every time, not enough. Now we got to sit with them, not in a courtroom, but presumably across the table. Social workers, good. Therapists, good. Police, not good. I think this whole leftist culture of woke, every time you think they've gone too far, they go further. It's a mockery. They're being laughed at. The tide is turning because this stuff is so awful. The woke crowd is like a stock looking for a bottom, and they cannot find one.
Go.
Big-
Come on, man.
Speaking of looking for a bottom, Jimmy.
Ouch.
Jimmy, I feel like we need new prisons like you need a new wardrobe.
Oh, I have a theory. Can I throw this out here?
Yeah.
I have a theory you actually love my fashion, but you're jealous because it doesn't come in kid sizes. I owed you one. I owed him one.
No, that was good. That was very good. I'm glad you came locked and loaded. You were waiting. You knew I was going to say something.
I did.
Especially with those boots.
It was well deserved.
Yes.
Here's the problem in America right now. We don't have a crime problem. We have a stupid problem. I say this all the time. We have stupid people that got elected and convinced other stupid people that the cops are a bigger threat to the community than the criminals. And when you reduce it to issues of race, what they're completely omitting is that crime is not an issue of black or white. It's an issue of right or wrong. And woke politics oftentimes make you overlook right or wrong. And it's gotten us to such a bad place here in New York. You know, we have these famous, they're called walking tours.
Right.
They're now called running tours because you might get mugged. You got to wrap it up fast. Lace them up, kids. We're going to see the statue. It's a mess.
Did you come up with that joke in the tanning bed?
Oh, Greg got it. You did overlook. It's going to be a chippy show. That's why he's the king of late night.
I think that's a self-tanner.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. You know, Kat, this is a tiny point, but I'm wondering if you caught this. When they had that example of the criminal or the crime victim, right, in her plan, they made it a male victim. I felt like because if they had used a female victim to a violent crime and having her sit with a thug, they would have been laughed out of the room. So, because that's the one thing they just shied away from. Because could you imagine anybody forcing a woman to sit down with her rapist or somebody who beat her up?
Right, but this would. And the craziest thing to me is for years and years and years, the left was obsessed with no blaming the victim.
Right.
And everything was blaming the victim. If you, for example, offered advice for how women can stay safe, then you're blaming them if they don't do that it's their fault that something bad happens to them. This is literally victim blaming as a policy.
Right.
Because it's saying if you meet with this team, you'll know what to say.
Yeah.
So if you had just said other things, you wouldn't have gotten, beaten with a tire iron, right?
Right.
Or if you don't, then they'd still go through the court system. Then they're blaming the victim for the punishment. This person had to go to prison and suffer because you wouldn't sit down with them. It's like victim blaming it double in terms of a policy.
Yeah, and it also the criminal gets to show up with his side.
Yeah.
So you're going to be intimidated. Not only that, the criminal is going to know more about you. Yeah. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of certain backward countries that force the rapist and the victim to marry. You know, after now you have to marry, as if that's considered the punishment.
I thought Afghanistan was the B block.
Yeah. Was it Afghanistan? I can't remember.
But this woman, Kaban, whatever her name is, she'll be a natural on the city council.
Right, of course.
She's
going to win.
They are all crazy people. They are all socialists, and they have all these weird ideas. Here's another weird idea. I've just got to inject this, okay? Yes. Today, the city fathers, the education department, backed by the teachers union, has decided, Greg, there's no more honor roll in schools. Now, I'm sure you were on the honor roll when you were in K through 12, someplace, 1 year, one semester.
He was on a list. He was on a list.
I must have been. I just don't remember.
But you get a trophy. Yes. Everyone gets a trophy for showing up to school. There's no honor roll. There's no merit. There's no motivation. There's no incentives. The teachers are ruining the city, just like these crazy socialists are ruining the city. Crime and education, man, that's the heart of the city, and they're just throwing it away.
Well, and it's not just here. I mean, we covered last night, out in San Francisco, they're paying people on a pilot program not to shoot other people.
Right.
And they're also in California talking about paying people not to do drugs. So every time you show up and you don't get a positive test, they put money on a little card for you and you get it at the end of the program. But we're paying people not to shoot people and we're paying people not to take drugs. I mean, these are just some of the ideas.
I was going to say. And one note, that's not as out there as it sounds. In New York, we're actually paying Mets fans not to shoot themselves. So it's a little bit of a...
There you go.
No honor roll.
By the way, if you try to find any research on how to rehabilitate a violent felon, good luck. because it's like a 90% recidivism rate, which means you can't be done, which means you need prisons. Maybe privatize the prisons. They're not supposed to have fun in there. The prisons are for us and not them.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.